iPhone 7 Plus versus iPhone 11 speed test. Let's begin with a boot up test in 3, 2, 1 and see which one could get there first. Now, I did cover iPhone 8 Plus versus iPhone 11 when the iPhone 11 did drop, but today I want to cover these two right here. If you are debating upgrading from your iPhone 7 Plus to the iPhone 11, they're both on 13.3.1, iOS 13.4 beta 2, I think just launched yesterday. And you can see the iPhone 7 Plus boots up over the iPhone 11 on the latest official software. So the first win is going to go to iPhone 7 Plus. Now we can't really directly compare the iPhone 7 Plus to the iPhone 11 when it comes to biometric security, but we can kind of check out to see how the Touch ID scanner works, and you could see it's very fast still. But let's take a look now at Face ID, and you could see Face ID extremely fast as well. So I don't really think these are that much of a difference in speed, besides the fact that you kind of have the convenience of Face ID versus some can say the convenience of Touch ID. Some prefer this and some prefer that. All right, so let's see which one can actually open the camera on the lock screen first. 3, 2, 1. And you could see pretty similar performance there. So I think that if you're trying to get that shot on the lock screen, you're not going to have too much of a difference with either one of them here. Both of them do snap that open very fast, holding down for a burst. Pretty similar. Now we actually have to go to the side here for the iPhone 11, but on the whole, you know, just getting into that photo, it doesn't seem like it's going to be a big difference on either. And quickly confirming the software, you can see they're both running iOS 13.3.1 on both devices. Okay, so we've arrived at the application portion of this speed test. You can see everything closed out for iPhone 11, everything closed out for iPhone 7. Let's see how fast they go into calendar. You can see pretty similar performance. Let's go into clock. And you can see pretty similar performance. I've actually been pretty impressed with how fast the iPhone 7 Plus still feels. It's been doing very well on the most current updates, at least in terms of speed. Now, battery, I don't know. It hasn't been too great. Looks like the iPhone 11 maybe slightly ahead there on weather, just maybe slightly. Let's go into Instagram. And you can see Instagram first there for iPhone 11. And here's where the iPhone 11 might start to shine over the iPhone 7 Plus, is just simply in these third-party applications. But it's still pretty slight. Let's go into Twitter, and you can see why Apple's still keeping the A10 Fusion around in their latest, iPad, the 10.2 edition. And you can see scrolling through Twitter, pretty similar performance. So not a big difference here in social media apps so far. Let's go into Snapchat. And the iPhone 11 a little bit faster. Now swiping home with that gesture is a little snappier than the Touch ID. But let's go into YouTube, and you can see, looks like we were open there first for the iPhone 11. Going into trending, both do scroll very smooth, but you might get the full video experience here on the iPhone 7 Plus versus the iPhone 11 due to the aspect ratio. Many videos are still shot in 16:9. But anyway, you can see that just in the social media round, pretty similar stuff, not a big deal of difference. Let's go to Pandora, and you can see Pandora is first here for iPhone 11 and then the 7 Plus. Heading into eBay, you can see, looks like eBay is first there for iPhone 11. And so you see a slight jump here in performance in certain applications, but it doesn't look like it's a big deal so far. Let's go into Geekbench 5, 3, 2, 1. And this is a good sign for people who are still holding on to their 7 Plus at least till the iPhone 12 comes out. Let's go into PUBG now. And here's where the iPhone 11 should start to shine just a little bit more, give you a little bit more performance here. And the iPhone 11 is clearly in the lead in player Battlegrounds Unknown Mobile. You can see, looks like we're already about to be in the match here for iPhone 11. And yeah, the iPhone 11 just definitely faster. And I think the performance difference here could make the difference between losing in one of these matches and not. I'd be playing on some of these more graphically powerful phones, and I could just see other players just lagging up, and that could be because of the hardware they're on. Let's go into the next game and see which one is first here. And you can see, looks like the iPhone 11 once again. This game is not super graphically intensive, so it doesn't take that much power to load up. But once in, pretty smooth on both of them. And I could say that performance on the 7 Plus has been pretty impressive considering that this phone is going on 4 years old already in September. Let's go into Mortal Kombat, 3, 2, 1. And you can see which one could get there first. Now, I noticed that the battery life is definitely not great on the 7 Plus anymore, but it still suffice enough, I think, for most people. So if you've held on to the 7 Plus, going to an iPhone 11 is not going to be a huge upgrade in performance. It will be a huge upgrade in terms of just how smooth it feels because of the gestures and stuff like that. But you can see that, you know, having this A13 really hasn't changed too much of the game when it comes to just your everyday application opening. Neither of these have a ton of RAM, so you're going to see right here, the iPhone 11 did win there in Mortal Kombat, but you're going to see right here when we go through these applications again that, you know, both of them do have pretty similar performance. 3 gigs of RAM, 4 gigs of RAM here on the right. Going into Dead Trigger 2, you can see pretty similar there. PUBG, pretty similar there. And they do have the tendency to reload if there is too many applications open, especially in your day-to-day. If you're kind of like multitasking or hopping in between applications, you will notice sometimes that both of these will pop open an app again when you thought it was open. Let's go into Snapchat. Let's go into Twitter. And you can see both doing quite well there. Let's go into Instagram. And you see a little bit of a pause. They also have the tendency to do that too. Sometimes they'll just pause and look like they're open, but it still leads to, you know, this illusion that your phone is holding those applications, which kind of feels good. It just kind of feels like the phone is always running everything very smooth. And you could see not a big deal of difference. I mean, this is so incredible for the iPhone 7 Plus, showing that on iOS 13.3.1, it's still pretty strong. Okay, and so here I have an iMovie. This is a 50-second clip. We're gonna go ahead and render this thing out on both of them. You can see iPhone 7 Plus render, iPhone 11 render, and let's go ahead and save this video on both. We're gonna save this video right here. And this is a 1080p clip, so let's do HD 1080 and see which one can finish this out first. So here's where the iPhone 11 should give you a little bit of a lead, but because iMovie is so well optimized for both phones, it doesn't always seem that way. But I do notice in things like LumaFusion that the performance gets even better for iPhone 11. And you could see, well, that was pretty strange. The iPhone 7 Plus won that one first, but still, as the clip gets longer and longer, this is only 51 seconds, but as it gets longer into like 4 or 5 minutes, the A13 starts to pull ahead. But you can see on some shorter clips, the iPhone 7 Plus can still do quite well here. Let's go ahead and open up now a Geekbench 5, and we will run a CPU benchmark to see what kind of benchmark scores we're getting now as of February 2020 on both iPhone 7 Plus and iPhone 11. I'll be back in a second. And they're almost done here with the test. You can see the iPhone 11 at 152 here. It looks like it's going to finish over the 7 Plus first. But I just got to say, between these two, you're noticing in this video that what really is going to change for you is just having this larger kind of front display, you know, having the Face ID. If you do decide to trade up to the iPhone 11 from your iPhone 7 Plus, you actually decrease in screen resolution from a 1080p to like an 828p, something like that. It's not even 1080 here for the iPhone 11. You can see 3491 in the multi and 1330 in the single. Now, if you're wondering why are those scores so low, this is Geekbench 5. The scoring system has changed versus Geekbench 4, which had some crazy high scores. So you can see that the single core is significantly less here and the multi-core significantly less. So technically speaking, on paper, of course, the iPhone 11 is the more powerhouse phone. But I'm telling you right now, coming from the 7 Plus to the 11 in a performance aspect is not really that big of a difference. Really what you feel is that smooth gesture experience versus the Touch ID, which can be a little bit rough on the edges because you got to actually tap it every time. So that's it. iPhone 7 Plus versus iPhone 11 speed test. The intentions of this video was to help you decide if it's worth trading up. And I think if you're just thinking about getting it because you want longer lasting performance, at this point, I probably would just wait for the iPhone 9 or 12 to see what those do bring, because, you know, they're not too far away, and the iPhone 11 is not too far away in performance from the iPhone 7 Plus, and that just goes to show how good the chipsets are for these iPhones. So let me know your thoughts on this one. Do you still have the 7 Plus? Are you trading it? Did you trade it and you think I'm totally off here? You think that, you know, the iPhone 11 has been way better than the iPhone 7 Plus? Let us know down below. I can say the camera is way better and the battery life is way better than the 7 Plus, but the other elements, not so much. Subscribe if you haven't already. Nick here, helping you to master your technology. Thank you very much for watching, and peace.